Hello everyone and welcome to episode 25 of the Wild Eye Diaries. I hope that you've all had a great week. I have had to play quite a lot of catch up as this has been my first week back in office after being out on safari for just shy of a month. I hosted the Big Cats and Tuskers Safari in Kenya, which led me straight into the first week of the Great Migration Safaris, which was followed up by a privately guided guerrilla trekking safari in Rwanda. So it's been a busy week for me, but a good one. But for the rest of the team, we've all had our hands quite full. Gerry's also been in office this week before his travels start again next week. Andrew's been in office. The ladies, Jono, we've all been in. And the guys currently out in the field is Alistair and Marlon. They're currently hosting Great Migration Safaris in the Mara. And Trevor is not in office. He's not hosting a safari, but he still is out in the Kruger National Park enjoying some downtime, and we will get a bit of a surprise update from him. But let's kick it off. We are going to be hearing from Johan, who is in Nelspruit. He's back home, and he's going to be updating us all on his Chitake Springs and Mana Pools Safari, and he's going to be chatting a bit about his highlights. Gerry, that's been in office, he's going to be sharing his thoughts on when photographers get too fixated in chasing a particular image that they then tend to lose out on what else is happening around them. So he's going to share his thoughts on that, which is quite interesting. And then we're going to get an update from Alistair and Marlon, and this comes straight out of the Masai Mara from the Out of Africa breakfast, and they're just going to give us a bit of an update as to how things are going there at this very moment. As I mentioned, we're going to get a bit of a surprise update from Trevor and what he's up to. And this week, Andrew Beck has his hands quite full, juggling quite a lot of things at the moment, so unfortunately we won't be hearing from him this week, but be sure that we will get an update from him next week. So let's kick it off with Johan, and followed by Gerry, then Alistair and Marlon, hearing from Trevor, and then that will conclude this episode.
Hello everybody, I hope you've all had a fantastic week. So for my insert this week, I wanted to share some of the experiences with you guys that we had at the Chitake Mana Pools. So I've just recently returned a couple of days ago, and it was a week safari. We spent 3 nights at Chitake and then 4 nights at Mana Pools. Now, to start off with Chitake, if you don't know the destination at all, it's a little bit more inland from Mana Pools, and it's basically got a natural underground spring that literally actually pops out in the middle of nowhere, and our campsite was located right next to it. So you've got this dry riverbed with this natural spring coming out, and as I mentioned, our camp was right next to that, so naturally we had a lot of game coming through camp. So to start off, like a normal day at Chitake, the majority or almost all the activities is based on walking, and so we set out first thing in the morning after a nice cup of coffee and headed out to walk, and it's a lot more sort of looking for tracks and signs of the animals, and just walking in that along that natural spring is truly spectacular. It naturally draws a lot of game in there. So animals such as buffalo had come down most afternoons. We had incredible sightings of elephants there. And then during the day in camp, there will also be movement of a lot of general game such as impalas, big troops of baboons. And so this area is not a place where you go out and photograph or take thousands of pictures a day. It's more sort of being in tune with nature, looking for those tracks, looking for those signs. And as I mentioned, because it's more walking based, the chances of sort of seeing 4 or 5 different high profile species is a lot lower than if you were in a vehicle, but the experience nonetheless is truly spectacular. We also, one afternoon, there's a massive baobab forest there not far from camp, and one afternoon we spent there. It's a nice vantage point, so you can see when animals are coming down to the springs, and we just photographed sunsets through the baobab trees, which was absolutely phenomenal. And it's just sort of, it's a place where you kind of have to just slow things down and, as I mentioned, be part of nature and really just soak up the experience. We did have on our last morning, we had a lot of excitement in camp, and it was about just before 6 in the morning, so it was still dark. We had one of the staff come running with his eyes massive and shouting Shumba. Now Shumba in Zimbabwe means lions, and obviously all hell broke loose, not being able to see what's going on. And then to our amazement, there was a wild dog, one single wild dog that had chased an impala through camp, across the riverbed, and then killed the impala on the other side. And then literally not a minute later, we had 3 lions come running past, also through camp, and they then took this kill away from the impala, from the wild dog, and that allowed us some decent viewing from a vehicle this time. We didn't go and walk in there. But it's one of those places you never know what's going to happen. In the evenings then, it's a phenomenal place to sit and enjoy the sunset, and at night after dinner we then did star photography, astrophotography every single night, which it was a lot of fun. The guests really enjoyed it, and we also were very lucky with the moon, that it was going into new moon now. So that's something that you don't get to do in a lot of places. There's little or no light pollution there, so it's a great place if you want to do some astrophotography as well. So after our 3 nights in at Chitake, we then took a drive to the floodplain to Munilunga Safari Camp. It's about an hour and a half's drive. Most of it in the beginning through a lot of mopani, so not much to see in the beginning, but as you get into that floodplain, then it just opens up, and it's always spectacular to head into Mana Pools. As soon as you see those winterthorn forests, you kind of know that this is where you are in Mana Pools. There's no mistaking it. And our 4 nights there delivered some incredible sightings. We had very, very good elephant viewing, including a sighting of Boswell, which is a very well-known elephant bull in Mana Pools, known for standing on his hind legs and feeding off those winterthorn pods. There's only actually 2 bulls, and this is something that a lot of people, my guests, didn't know about it. There's only 2 bulls in Mana Pools that are known for going up on their hind feet like that. So it's not a case of every single elephant doing that. Some might reach up with their trunks, but at this stage there's only 2 bulls that are known for going up on their hind legs. So we were lucky on one afternoon to spend the afternoon with Boswell, as he's known, and we were the only people there, which was incredible. So it really gave us the opportunity to work the sighting a bit, and follow him as the light was getting good. You get that beautiful light coming through the forest, and so that was really spectacular and something that we all thoroughly enjoyed. We were lucky enough to get a pack of 4 wild dogs, and so they are still denning, but some of the individuals came away to hunt, and then they will then take that meat back to the den site. So that was a very pleasant surprise, and I'm sure for our safaris going on later in the year, in September, October, then we will have more viewing of these dogs, and it will be interesting to see how many pups make it sort of to that sub-adult stage, because there are a lot of hyenas around, so naturally their survival is a little bit limited when they're that small. Then from a camp point of view, Munilunga, it's on the banks of the Zambezi River under trichelia trees, the Natal mahogany, so lovely shady area, and this time of the year was actually very pleasant temperature wise, And there were a lot of leaves. There was from the sausage trees around camp as well that dropped down, and this attracted a huge amount of elephants as well as hippo. There's also a resident hippo in camp. It's not tame, it's still a wild animal, but naturally it has become a little bit more to humans. So during the day when we were processing photos and doing some Lightroom sessions, these elephants and hippos would often come and feed around us, that in itself was a phenomenal experience. And then there's just something about, waking up in the morning, and almost every morning there was a hippo in the path that you had to sort of detour around. So it's a very wild experience, and it's an experience that I thoroughly enjoy. The camp from a food point of view is absolutely phenomenal. If you guys have been to Munilunga, Dave and Tess, they are incredible hosts, and Andrew as well. They the food there is just unlike anywhere else. Often better than a lot of 5-star lodges that I've stayed at. It's home cooked meals, but really delicious, and you're definitely not going to go hungry during your time at Munilunga. So, as I mentioned, a great experience, very different to a lot of other safaris. Not a lot of your time is spent in a vehicle. It's a lot of on-foot experiences, and your viewing and your photography all happens on foot, which is special. It's an incredible experience. And like one of the guests, Manfred, I think he summed it up perfectly. He mentioned that if you in a vehicle on a normal safari, it's almost like being on a movie set where you're watching the movie unfold in front of you, and if you're on foot like we were, you're actually part of that movie. You're one of the stars in the movie, and I think that just sums it up perfectly. You feel a lot more in tune with nature, and it is spectacular to experience. But that's it from my side this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed some of these videos and some of the photos. I look forward to catching up with you all again next week. But as always, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to give us a shout. We'll happily answer them, and I look forward to catching up with you guys in the next episode. Until then, cheers, have a good one.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So when Mike asked me for my insert for this week, I had a couple of ideas. And for those of you that listen to the podcast, you'll know that when I'm on a trip and working with people in the field, traveling, shooting, whatever, there's a lot of ideas and discussions and thought that comes up. And I use those for my podcast. So the questions I get on email, on my Instagram and stuff like that, that's cool. But from a practical point of view, the stuff that I discuss with people in the field and the topics that come up makes for great conversation for the podcast. And I'm going to steal one of those. I might use the audio for this video as the podcast, or I'm going to go deeper. But I think it's something that needs to be said because, okay, let's cut this down to basics. We all dig wildlife photography. We love what we do. And there's a certain thrill in going out into the field and getting the shot, that one shot, that thing that you've seen someone else do. You've seen it on my or Mike or Marlon's Instagram. You think, holy shit, that's amazing. I want that. Or you could have been to the same place for quite some time. You've been there 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 10 years going, and you've come close to getting a shot. You see it in your photographic mind. You see that shot and you want it. Now, I'm sure you'll agree with me. We all have it. We have that one shot, those two shots, however many images that you really want to get. And the fine line we walk as wildlife photographers, and I've seen this in the field recently, and more so, I don't know if it's a thing about Instagram or social media that pushes us in that direction, but people get obsessive about getting one shot. Now, when John and I hosted a week now recently together in the Masai Mara, we came back. I had my list on my phone of topics that I want to kind of include for the podcast. And Jono said to me in the morning, we sat down there. This is the new office, by the way. It's pretty sweet. We sat over there and he said to me, we need to do a podcast. He said it, and he wanted to call it Chasing the Dragon. And he said almost word for word what I wanted to kind of articulate. And it has to do with when you become too obsessive about that one single image, what is the cost? What is the cost to you as the photographer of going out to a place on a safari, on a private guided safari, whatever it might be, and becoming so heavily obsessive about one single image that you miss everything else? There are very few of you watching this or listening to this. Actually, I'll be very surprised if any of you watching this or listening to this make your money exclusively off your photography, off your wildlife photography. How many of you have been in the field and you get so stressed up about getting that leopard jumping out of a tree or getting that wildebeest rushing across the water, or whatever it is, that you actually get yourself upset about it? Guys, we need to be very real here. What we're doing, even what I'm doing, what you guys are doing photographing, it's for fun. We need to take this back to basics. It's a fun thing. The moment you get so obsessed that you upset yourself and you upset people around you that you didn't get the shot, oh damn it, I wasn't ready when the lion jumped out of the tree, or my aperture was wrong when the bird flew, or whatever. Guys, if you get too stressed up and you mess up your own mind about one particular image that you have in mind, you are missing. Let me tell you what you're missing. You are missing an incredible photographic experience. You are missing the laughs and the good times that are happening in the vehicle or on the trip with you because you just mission off into a direction and that's your focus. You're missing a great deal of other images that you could be getting while you are looking for that one shot. How many of us really can say that if I get this one shot that actually, wait, stop. Take a moment for me, work with me on this. Think right now, wherever you're sitting watching this, think for me about one image that you really want to get. Really, really want to get. I'll give you one of mine. For example, I'm going to Canada now, next week. I would love to get a spirit bear coming down the creek, catching a salmon, and as he comes up, shaking. And I want that. I need that shot. Now, are you willing, really, you've got your shot in mind, I've got mine. Are you willing to sacrifice all the other shots, a great experience, laughs, good time, making memories, learning new things along the way for that one shot? Is it really worth it? I honestly do not think so. And I think it's a problem because there's so many of you, so many out there, so many people online that get so angst and fucked up in their heads because they want that one image that you're missing everything else. It's not worth it. And when you get one day, you're going to be so tense. If you're tense, you can't think straight. Creativity needs you to be relaxed and free and open-minded. It's not worth it. Guys, if you are one of those photographers, who are so obsessive about one single image that you are spoiling your own experience, I would urge you to have a very good look and go deep with it for yourself as to why you are doing what you are doing. So you get that one. So I get my shot with the spray happening in the spirit bit. Now what? Now it's a bit of a letdown because I've got it, and now what? So I'm going to post it onto Instagram and get 1,000 likes? Woo! What's next? You're just going to go from one incident to the next. If you're going from big shot to obsess about big shot to obsess about big shot, you're missing everything in between, and that's sad. I think that's sad, and there's so much more that we can experience about this wonderful thing that we're doing than just chasing the single shot. Guys, there's a whole lot more. I'm going to leave it there for now. I'm probably going to do this as a podcast and go deeper with it because I think there's a whole psychology behind. Is it the likes? Is it self-fulfillment? Is it I have a goal for myself? There's a whole bunch of stuff. So I'll do this in the podcast as well. But if you have any questions on this, I'd like to hear your comments because are you one of those people that obsess about the one shot? Have you seen other photographers on trips that you've been on obsess about the one shot? And in doing so, miss an incredible experience. Give it some thought. Maybe it's you, maybe it's not, but give it some thought. We need to focus on experience first. I'm going to have my coffee and get to work here. It's still nice and quiet in the new office. And I'll see you online. My name is Gerry. I'm from Wild Eye. Have a good one. Bye.
Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's insert of the Wild Eye Diaries. Marlon and myself are here at the Out of Africa breakfast spot in the Mara Triangle, and what a beautiful view it is. It's been a great week here so far. So today's our second last full day, with the guests leaving on Saturday, and the sightings that we've had have been absolutely fantastic. As an example, this morning we had 3 separate leopards, a mother cub and then a bigger male later on in the morning, and making our way all the way north in the Mara to this spot, we've had some incredible viewings along the way. And the rest of the week has been fantastic. We've had some great crossings, 3 of which have been pretty memorable, and yeah, always very, very special to be here.
Yeah, lovely. In the new, well, I would say new camp, but certainly new additions to the camp this year. And I've just gotten back from my first safari in the Mara this year, and it's been great to see the new camp and the excitement of the staff. And we've had quite a few repeat guests, and just to see the experience in the new camp has been fantastic, and really, really enjoying it so far. Sightings have been fantastic, the crossings have been great, like Al said, and everything is happening around camp. Our new camp location is in a place where you really see it close by. It's the main crossings are maybe 2-3 minutes from our camp, and the furthest one's maybe 10 minutes, so you're right in the thick of things. Every night you can hear the wildebeest around camp, and it's been really, really good so far. Yeah, from our side, thanks so much for checking in. I'm sure you'll enjoy the rest of the diary inserts and the episodes, and yeah, from the Mara we'll bid you a farewell. And anything else last from you?
No, that's pretty much it. More updates from next week. Cheers,
Thanks guys, bye bye.
Hi, it's not Trevor, it's Lara. Trevor's actually away on holiday. He's celebrating his 2nd year anniversary with his lovely wife Erin in the Kruger National Park. So instead of Trev, you've got an update from me. Things have been going rather crazy since I got back from my leave last week. I was away in the Kruger Park, Sabi Sun and Apadumlani Bush Camp, where I had a fabulous time with my family and a little bit of downtime in between the craziness of the Mara season. Things going on in the office at the moment are confirming all the bits and pieces and putting up signs and making sure that we settled nicely in the office. We've got a lot of trips going out in the next few weeks. We've got Kalahari going out for Mike. We've got new weeks starting in the Mara, and exciting time for me too, because I've got 7 sleeps as I do it, until I head up to the Mara myself. So I'm extremely excited about that. There are so many things going on all at the same time that I have to kind of have my little red notebook on the table at all times with all my points of what has to get done, because even though the Mara is very important, there are so many other trips that we are planning for people, getting things done for next year's migration, next year's trips in and around South Africa, in and around Africa, in and around all sorts of places. I'm sure you might have seen that Gerry put up a little Antarctica post yesterday. So yes, constantly busy, but fun, and we're hoping that Trevor's having a lovely time away, and I hope that the surprise was as surprising as you may have found out, that it's not Trev, it's La. Okay, thanks for so much, guys. Bye.
And there you have it for this week's episode. Quite a lot going on. Interesting update from Johan. Thank you so much for that. Gerry, your thoughts shared there, I totally agree with, and I hope that all of you found something beneficial out of that as well. Alistair and Marlon, seems like you guys are having a great time. Good luck with the rest of your time in the Mara. And yes, Trevor, we didn't hear from him, but thank you for the update, Laura. We hope that you're having a great time in the Kruger. And that's it from me this time. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Wild Eye Diaries. My next update will be coming to you probably from the office. I will just send in an insert a lot earlier. Reason being is because I head out to the Kalahari on Wednesday morning. I fly into Upington and then take a road transfer up with 5 guests into the Kalahari, where we'll be spending 5 nights. Connectivity there apparently is not too great, but you will definitely get a proper update regarding the Kalahari in the up and coming episode. Anyway, have a lovely weekend and look forward to catching up with you in the next episode. Cheers for now.